Welcome to week 4 of the Web Center World Series training and contest. Over the past couple weeks, we've been talking a little bit about websites, blogs, content marketing, as well as our simple sales system with the 5 C's. And tonight, we're going to discuss driving traffic to a website through search engines, whether it be search engine optimization, or even Google advertising programs. And what we're going to do is talk a little bit more in depth about how these programs work, what the search engines are looking for, a little bit about our products and services, and what you can do in your consultations to increase the likelihood of scheduling a digital marketing appointment with a product specialist and how to close those sales working with our professionals. Now, one thing that I always like to say is that you may or may not be at a point where you're having discussions to provide solutions, but we do have the tools to ask the right questions. And all you're looking to do is gather information through that process and then schedule an appointment with our specialist to really address the solutions, talk about our products and services, talk about pricing, answer the clients or candidates' questions, and really help in the follow-up process. Although we also have some veteran Web Center owners that are looking to increase their digital marketing product sales. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about how to do that as well. Now, the most important thing is that we can't stray from the system, and the system really is those 5 C's. So it all starts with a list of candidates, right? A list of top 10, top 20 candidates that you're going to reach out to each and every week in order to schedule consultations, right? So we have our first C, which is candidates. Our second is doing some current research and finding out where they're at with their digital marketing. We'll talk about that this evening. Then you've got to contact them, right? You actually have to speak to these individuals to set up a consultation appointment, whether it's going to be a reach out on the phone, it's going to be a text message, maybe a direct message on social media, or in person even, especially if it's a warm lead, which is what we'd recommend. And then what we're doing is the fourth C, plugging them into a consultation appointment, which is 10 to 15 minutes for you to discover more about their business and what potential solutions we can have that might fit them, with no guarantee, of course. And then we close them, the fifth C, close them into an appointment with a product specialist that does the heavy lifting and really presents the information and then follows up on your behalf. So that 5C simple sales system will yield the most results and the best chance of you succeeding with Web Centers. And what we're doing through the World Series training is highlighting different products and services that we offer, then talking to you or training you on how to talk intelligently, or having some interest-creating remarks that spurs conversation with candidates or business owners, so that increases the likelihood of having a consultation or even a demo appointment with a product specialist. So we're taking each week product by product and really diving deep into it. So when we talk about traffic, right? Traffic can come from all sorts of avenues, but tonight we're going to focus mostly on what? Search engine optimization strategies, which is going to take maybe content. It's going to obviously drive traffic to a website, analytics, the analysis and the reporting and what's working and what's not, and hopefully improving that candidates or clients ranking on the search engine. So it really comes down to what the business owner is looking for. And I think all too often they're very confused about digital marketing. So our job is to demystify a little bit. And my job tonight is to help demystify it for you as a Web Center owner, so you can speak intelligently about some of these services. You know, back in the early 90s and before that, a business owner really could just operate their business, take out an ad in the yellow pages, maybe take out an ad in the local newspaper, and then focus on word of mouth. And that would drive them enough business to create revenue and repeat customers to really have a successful enterprise. But nowadays, my goodness, that business owner has to, also worry about these other things we just mentioned, but also they're looking at their website, their mobile presence, their search engine presence, their social media presence. Are they doing any search engine marketing, their blog or content marketing like we talked about last week? How are they appearing on review sites like Yelp or Angie's List, right? What about then also still focusing on their local newspaper or maybe some yellow pages or other traditional forms of advertising, word of mouth, and still operating their business? And I think it's all too often that a business owner is very confused. They don't understand the return on their investment. So when they're confused, they do nothing, or they end up spending too much money to yield very little results because they're too fragmented. They don't know where to invest their money. So we really provide a lot of solutions, and that really comes down to educating the clients what they need. So when we look at big box retail stores, or even just beyond retail stores, what are they looking for? They're looking for an increase in sales and to decrease their expenses. And what that does means that they're increasing their net profits, right? They're looking at their profit margins, profitability. Their map to do so is mass marketing, right? Investing large amounts of money to get in front of masses of people, whether it's going to be radio, maybe TV, maybe direct mail, maybe mass marketing appeal on social media or internet marketing, display ads. So they've got a budget for that, right? They also have an excellent website and a mobile presence. They have great search engine optimization. They also are investing a lot of money into Google advertising and search engine marketing programs. They also have social media professionals, and they're running online campaigns and email marketing. But where is their challenge? Their challenge is really in building the loyal customer relationship, because these big box stores, they're doing it based on quantity, and they really can't build a relationship. And then what happens is that they're trying to perform based on price. But the local business owner, right, the small business owner, they still have the same goals, right? They want to increase revenue and decrease their expenses, which means that they'll be profitable, right? And they want to increase their profitability. And what is their roadmap? Well, excellent customer relationships, right? They're tied to the community. They've got a great, loyal fan base, so to speak. And then they've got a basic advertising budget and a basic website. So their challenge really is in human resources, technological resources, their advertising budget, human resources. Right? There's just a massive gap when it comes to the amount of revenue or money that they can invest into their marketing. And that's where their struggle is. So, business owners do need a great website. We talked about that last week, but what do they also need? They also need traffic, social media, visibility on Google, emails and domains, email campaigns, the ability to make changes and manage their website on their own, e-commerce, analytics, secure hosting, and support. So we provide all of these things, and that's why we call ourselves an all-inclusive digital marketing solution. So let's talk a little bit about visibility and traffic. And these are even some great questions for your candidates or your clients. Where are you found on the internet? When you do a search, how well do you rank, right? Are you visible with your existing customer base? And the big question is, do you have a strategy? And more often than not, they don't have a strategy, right? They're just grasping at straws, hoping that they show up in searches. Now, if you have a client that ranks for their name in their local market, great. That's really important. Right? If they don't show up using their business name in their geography, that's a really big problem. But in most cases, a business can put their name in, and in their geography can show up on that first page of Google. And if not, like I said, that's a major problem and it has to be addressed. However, in most cases, they will show up. Now, in some cases, they'll show up on maybe their social media sites, maybe on some of the business directories and listing sites, and maybe they're not showing up for their actual businessname.com. Their website isn't ranking. So maybe their business overall has a presence, but their website itself isn't showing up on searches. So those are things to pay attention to. But more often than not, if someone's searching that business's name on a search engine like Google, it means they're already aware of the business. They already know about the business. Now, they might be trying to do some research, but more often than not, they're looking for contact information. They're looking for maybe a menu or specials. They're looking for some relevant information, but they still know of the business. The way to drive traffic, or the most important piece of traffic that most small business owners are looking for, are new leads, new customers that can be new patrons of theirs. So the best way to do that is to really have a strong search ranking or page ranking based on the keyword of their primary category or industry. So if we're talking about restaurants, maybe it's fine dining or Mediterranean cuisine. Maybe it's catering or a brew pub, right? Those categories, and then the geography. And the geography is important because Google gives the results based on the IP address of whoever's doing the search. And that's why mobile marketing or local marketing is so important. Now, if a client is doing a search or a user is doing a search on the internet and they're going out of town, they're going to put the geography, right? They know that if they want a local listing for where they're headed, they need to put the geography. So, they might have to type in Italian restaurant, North Shore, Boston, Massachusetts. They might have to do roofing and siding in Hartford, Connecticut, right? If they're out of town. So it's important for these businesses to rank not only for their name, but also for their keyword category and the geography. So these are ways that you can enhance your consultation. So when you book that 15-minute consultation, you're going to be using the digital and social media marketing assessment sheet, right? It's a very brief form, but you can ask these key questions like, what is your ideal demographic? Do you advertise anywhere else? What is your budget? Because a lot of companies are paying money for outbound advertising or brand awareness, and they're not able to track, or they're not getting the results they're looking for. So what they can do is reallocate that money towards a great search campaign where it's trackable. We can have analytics on it, there's reporting, and they will more often than not see a higher return on their investment strategy. And that's why it's important to ask that question. If you are advertising, what is your budget? Right? And in some cases, some people say, well, it's hard for me to ask how much money someone has in their budget. They're not willing to share that information. Now they will if they trust you and they've got a good rapport with you and a good relationship. So that's key. However, there are other ways that you can deduce that. You can do some detective work. One thing you can say is, where are you advertising? And maybe say, are you in the yellow pages? Are you doing any newspaper advertising? Are you doing any other type of display ads anywhere? And if they say yes, you can say, well, what size ad, right? Is it a half-page ad? Is it a full-page ad? A quarter-page ad? Is it a color ad? And by asking those questions, you can actually find a lot of those rates by going online and doing research at those companies, right? Type in the local newspaper company and see if there's an ad, a rate book for their advertising program. And if there isn't, email them and call them. And more often than that, those sales reps will actually try and sell you an ad, but you'll at least be able to get the pricing, right? And that'll give you an idea of the budget of some of your candidates. So that's an advanced tip on how you can kind of uncover some great information. And there's another great question. How do you measure the efficacy of your current advertising? And most companies can't. And if they do, maybe they've got like a remote call forwarding number. It's an 800 number that they can track how many calls came from that ad. But a lot of businesses don't want to do that because it's not their real phone number. So more often than not, they say, well, we ask people where they found us. Now, let's be honest. When someone goes to a company and they say, how did you hear about us? It's whatever they remember. It might be the referral. It might be the radio ad. It might be the on the pizza box, or it might be at the coffee shop on the little placemat. But most consumers don't really remember how they originally heard of that business. I did a search. It's just going to be whatever's top of mind at that moment when they get asked that question. So it's not really a great way to track advertising dollars, right? And then we go into some other questions like, do you do any search engine marketing? And they might say, what do you mean? You say paid ads on Google. Are you paying for advertising space on Google? How well do you currently rank on search engines? And if they know or they don't, that's okay. They usually say, yeah, I'm number one. So then you can ask the question, for what keywords? For your business name or for your primary service? And what is your primary service? And you can see, hey, let's just check it out now. Now, if you've done your homework and you've done your research, you should already have some of that information, right? How well does your competition rank on search engines? They may not know, but you may know because you've done your research. Where would you like to rank in search engines? Do you want to be in the top 10 spots, or are you okay being on the third page, right? In most cases, they don't even know. But that's an interesting question because it starts a conversation. And I'll just tell you, one of my candidates at one time, I sat down with them and I said, you're a roofing and siding business, and you've got a huge business here in southern New Hampshire. You're ranking very well for most of the keywords around roofing and siding, on the first page of Google, almost all those things. But is that, how can I help you? Are you looking to expand your business? Maybe you're ranking for roofing and siding in, say, Nashua, New Hampshire, but how well are you ranking in Bedford, New Hampshire? Or how well are you ranking in Manchester, New Hampshire? Or how well are you ranking in maybe Lowell, Massachusetts? He said, Jason, the problem is I'm tired. Yeah, it's my bread and butter. I don't want to lose that business, but I'm getting to a point where I'm tired of being up on the ladder. I'm tired of being on the roofs. And yeah, I've got great crews that can do that work, but you know what? I'm okay. I don't want to expand that business. And I said, well, is there a service that you don't rank for that you would like to? He says, you know what I'd really like to do? I love doing kitchen and bath remodeling. I said, well, where do you rank on that? And he goes, I don't show up anywhere. I said, does your website talk about kitchen and bathroom remodeling? He said, no. I said, then how can you possibly rank for it? I said, if that's the kind of business you're looking to attract, then we need to do some work. Let's put some some content together about those services, some galleries, some before and after photos, and really what you're offering, and put a page on your website for that. And let's do a search engine optimization and a search marketing campaign to drive traffic for that service. And he said, that's brilliant. Of course, why wouldn't I do that? The reason why I'm not getting any jobs for that is because no one knows I do that. And I said, yeah, especially when your name has roofing and siding in it, right? So those are the conversations that you need to have with the business owner. So this consultation might give you an insight to how to further that conversation. Do you do any Google AdWords? If so, who manages it? If so, what's your monthly budget? What's your return? And if they're doing it themselves, they're just throwing money, they might not know how to manage a Google AdWords campaign, right? What industries do you advertise in? Where do you conduct most of your business? Are you looking to expand? Like I had asked my candidate, said, are you looking to branch out? Do you want to open up another location? Are you willing to travel for business? Is your business seasonal year round? In many cases, if they are a landscape construction company, in the off season, are they doing snow removal, right? Or are they doing fall cleanup, right? So in these seasonal types of businesses, a Google advertising campaign is critical because it's hard to rank naturally in the off season for some of those things, right? How happy are you with your visibility online, right? And those are all the SEO questions on this assessment form. So you can see they lead to higher quality appointments. They further build a relationship because what? You're asking the business owner key questions that are making them think. They're thought-provoking questions that lets them know that you care. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're not trying to sell them SEO. You're not trying to sell them Google AdWords. You're trying to understand their business and make the best recommendation. And from there, what is the best recommendation? Well, it's to schedule them with a consultation or a demo with our product specialists, right? So a couple key questions, getting them thinking about it, will lead you to booking a DMP demo. Now, I've got another trick up my sleeve, and I call it the SERP, the search engine results page. When you're doing your research, you're doing some Google searches to find out where they rank. And we don't know if you're going to have an appointment with them. So you're just using some preliminary research to contact them. Once you get the okay that yes, they would like a 15-minute consultation, or yes, they would like to speak with you, now it's time to do a little bit more homework and do a little bit more digging, because you can invest a little bit more time, because now you're going to invest some of your time in an appointment. They're investing time with you. So initially, yeah, we say maybe 3 minutes to do some basic research on each of your candidates. But once you have a consultation appointment, you need to do some more research. And one of the things I love to do is pull up all your search results, type in their name and their main metro geography, and then look at where they rank, and then print off that page and highlight where they rank. Also, star any of their competition that shows up. Next thing you're going to do is look at maybe some surrounding metro areas and see if they show up. Again, highlight them or star some of maybe their competitors. If they're only showing up on maybe 2 or 3, print 3 pages worth of the search result pages and then highlight where they're showing up. Then you're going to do some of their major keywords. If it's landscaping, you might say landscape construction in Bedford, New Hampshire, landscape construction in Manchester, New Hampshire, landscape construction in Nashua, New Hampshire. And then you might find another one that is maybe lawn maintenance or lawn care in each of those types. So you're going to do maybe 2 or 3 categories and 2 to 3 surrounding geographies based on a metro area, and then print those, what I call SERPs, search engine result pages. And when you highlight that, because what's going to happen when you're having a conversation with a business owner and you've gone through these questions, you can say, well, this is the research that I did on your behalf, and this is what I found. And you go over their results and say, are you happy with this? Or are there areas that you would like to improve? Would you like to rank higher in some of these categories? Or would you like even more visibility against your competition that's showing up? And of course, they're going to say yes. Or maybe if they're happy with their business, it at least lets them know that you invested your time. And maybe they're okay not showing up in certain geographies or maybe not certain keywords. But then you can ask them, well, maybe what are some other things that you would like to rank for? And they say, well, yeah, we do lawn care, but really we're trying to pick up our snow removal business. You could say, great, let's do some initial research right now if you've got some time, or let me come back with some results for you. Snow removal, Nashua, New Hampshire, right? And you're going to, plowing, snow plowing, sanding. Ask them, what services do you offer? Are you looking for commercial? Are you looking to do commercial or residential? Are you looking for condo or homeowners associations? So now you have their attention. You can ask those questions, do your research, and then either work with them on maybe your mobile device or come back and do further research. But it's a very tangible process. They can see the results, they hear you, and you're having a conversation with them. So you're not trying to sell them something that is intangible. I'll tell you, if you use this assessment and you do what I just said with the search engine results pages, you will schedule DMP appointments for search engine optimization and Google advertising, and you will sell programs in those categories. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about SEO and really what that means, right? A lot of business owners don't understand this, and it's your job to just educate them. Really, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, there's 3 ways to show up in search. The first is in paid placement advertising on something like Google. Google ads are like a paid billboard. Now, you don't have to pay to play. You don't have to pay to be there, but you've got to be willing to pay if someone clicks on your website. So if someone clicks on this ad and goes to your website, they're going to give you a cost per click, right? And depending on the industry average, the area, the geography, the competition, how well your website is written for content is going to depend and judge based on how well you rank in the ads, as well as how much it's going to cost you for that click. It could be $1 a click, it could be $5 a click, depending on what keyword and how competitive it is. But what the power of this is that it shows up at the top of the search engine results page, right? So it's the first thing a consumer sees. Now, the second place to show up is in your local listings, and you've seen it, right? The maps, and you can ask them if they are familiar. Have you ever seen this section on a search engine? Oh, yeah, of course. But I want to know why those 3 companies are listed and mine isn't until I click more places. Well, that's because they've got an active Google My Business page, and they've got great reviews, and they've got a great website. So Google wants to advertise them, right? So it's very organic. It shows all the relevant results, but it's only going to pick a couple in any metro area, right? It's going to give all the contact information, like the listing, business name, the website, the contact information, the Google Map location, if there's a physical location, reviews. And then, of course, they can click for more information. And if you're on a mobile device, you can actually click to call that business, right? So local listings are a very important part of search engines, right? And then, of course, below that is what we call organic placement or natural search engine placement, right? And what you'll find is these large companies, these listing services, review services, directory sites have flooded the internet, making it even more difficult for the local business owner to break through, right? Like the Better Business Bureau, Home Advisor, Thumbtack, Yellow Pages, right? And 1-800-NEW-ROOF.net, right? A listing company. But here it is, techroofing.com sees one business name on the search engine result page. That's the one they're clicking. They're looking for a .com. They're not looking for anything else unless they typed in, roofing and siding company reviews. So it's very important to place in the organic section. And even page 2 is decent, but ultimately a business should be on page 1. Now, there are no guarantees to rank in organic placement, no matter how much SEO a company does. The only guarantee of showing up on page 1 of Google is to pay Google and do a search engine marketing Google AdWords campaign. Now, We can do some great things with our SEO programs. We are more than likely increasing their rankings. Maybe from page 10, it's going to climb up to page 8, climb up to page 5, going to climb up to page 3. And we're going to work with the client to make sure that they can improve their ranking. But there is no guarantee. So even if they say, well, can you guarantee me page 1? You have to be honest with them and say, there is no company that can guarantee you page 1 in organic placement. And if they do, they're lying. The only way to guarantee first page of Google is through a Google AdWords campaign. However, you can say there's a lot of things that we know about search engine algorithms to increase the likelihood that we can get you there, but it also depends on the market and the competition, as well as what other players are in that game, right? So you can also educate them. We talked about this last week, but did you know that when people Google a term on a mobile device, Google only recommends those that are mobile friendly, right? Because the world is mobile, right? More than 70% of internet traffic right now comes from a mobile device. Mobile search, 49% of B2B researchers who use their mobile devices for product research do well at work. Interesting, right? People are doing it while they're working. 65% of smartphone users agree that when conducting a search on their smartphones, they look for the most relevant information, regardless of the company providing that information. More Google searches take place on a mobile device than on computers in 10 countries, including US, Japan, and Google, and those numbers continue to increase. Here's some great information. Local SEO, 72% of consumers did a local search, visited that store within 5 miles. And that is another, I call it an ICR, interest creating remark. That's going to spur some great conversation to schedule that consultation. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner, did you know that 72% of consumers did a local search, visited a store within 5 miles? How are you ranking locally? How about this? 30% of mobile searches are related to a location, right? Of course they are. 28% of searches for something nearby result in a purchase. Revenue, right? That's almost a third. A third of the searches for something nearby result in a purchase. Local searches lead 50% of mobile visitors to visit stores within a day, right? If someone's on their phone doing a search, they're active buyers. They're looking. They're not just doing some research. They're looking to purchase. 78% of local mobile searches result in offline purchases. What does that mean? It means they've done a search on their mobile device, yet they've gone into the brick and mortar store to make a purchase, or they've gone into the restaurant to make a purchase. They've gone into the shoe store. They've gone into the dry cleaner. They've gone into the doctor's office. 78%. So when a business says, well, why would I have to do a search engine program? Why do I need a website? Well, do you want traffic? Do you want new leads? Do you want new customers? Oh, I've got a social media page. I've got a Facebook page. I don't need a website. Well, did you know that 78% of local searches on a mobile device result in someone coming into a store and making a purchase? That is incredible. When you share that kind of information, you're providing tremendous value. And yeah, you might sound smart, but the whole goal is to book them into an appointment that you can talk with them about their goals and then schedule them to talk to one of our specialists. So some people say, well, I really focus on business to business. I don't need to focus on the internet. All right, well, business to business. 71% of business to business researchers start their research where? With a generic search. A generic search, and then kind of drill down and filter it from there. B2B researchers do 12 searches on average prior to engaging on a specific brand's website. That's interesting, right? 12 different searches before ever engaging. And that's, again, why does a business need to have a website? Why do they need to have a search program? This is why, because they're missing out on potential leads. 72% of marketers say relevant content creation was the most effective SEO tactic. Now, we talked about content last week. We're talking about blogging. We're talking about relevant content on a web page. We're talking about email marketing. We're talking about, relevant information that a consumer is looking for. So again, not only is it what people are looking for, but it's also in the Google algorithm on how they can rank different companies based on relevant content. So there are some different types of search engine optimization out there. One is called on-site SEO, and that has to do with everything related to the coding and the actual website. So on-site SEO are things like page titles, page descriptions, and page keywords. And those are all like meta tags and things on the back end of a website. Now, those have kind of gone by the wayside, but more importantly is what? Relevant, fresh content, text, images, videos, credible links. That is really increased over the years to help with search engine optimization of a website. Now, page titles, description, and keywords also help, and we're going to talk about that momentarily. Off-site SEO, that means that things that can happen off of a website that can drive search engine rankings. One is listings and reviews, right? Where is the website listed? What about consistent content? Is it the same the website address on multiple directory listings? Is it the same phone number? Is it the same years it's been in business? What about reviews? Reputable, credible sources like the Better Business Bureau listings, or maybe a local news article, right? Articles, posts, press, media, and some backlinks. Now, this used to be a tactic years ago, and companies would create all these links back to a website to try and increase the SEO value. And what happened is that Google said, well, it's not really relevant traffic, and those aren't really relevant links, so we're going to discredit that. It's almost like stuffing the ballot box. So while those used to be very popular, they're really not what I call white glove or best practices for SEO. Content strategy. 47% of buyers viewed 3 to 5 pieces of content before engaging. We talked about that last week. 96% of B2B buyers want content with more input from industry thought leaders. So what does this mean? It really means that the person who is doing the searching is looking for the best answer, a relevant answer. So think of Google as the world's largest file cabinet. And if you think of a file cabinet and you open up a drawer, you've got it categorized. And in each little hanging file folder is then a manila folder with a tab on it. And if you look at it, doesn't it look like an internet browser tab, right? So when someone does a search and goes to a website and it's in a browser tab, it's very similar to a file folder. And in the contents of that file folder are all of the web pages. The website pages and content are all aggregated within that one folder of the website. So title tags. The title tag is one of the most important attributes of the web page. It's the first thing a search engine actually shows a visitor, and it's in the results of a search on Google, right? It's a text that appears at the top of your browser window, and you can see it looks like a little folder tab. In this case, the ideal title tag should not be the business name, because most people doing a search understand who the business is. The business owner should have their key service or product and their geography as the page title. Isn't that interesting? So that's another little quick tip when you're doing your research that you can help them improve their SEO. Certainly gets you an appointment with a product specialist. Now, meta descriptions, right? The meta description is also an important part of the web page. It's the text that's displayed under the ad. So this here is a listing, R.H. Wilson's Auto Salvage, Auto Parts, Auto Repair in Hudson, New Hampshire. It shows their business website address, but then right under that is the page description. That comes from the first piece of text on whatever that page is. Now, does that typically read like an advertisement or a call to action? Not necessarily. However, in the SEO portions of a website, you can change those page descriptions. So when our professionals work with a company, they can write something like this, right? RH Wilson offers a full-service auto repair for all makes and models, import and domestic. Call today with the phone number right there in the ad, which is really just the organic placement. RH Wilson is your one-stop shop in Pepperell, Lowell, Mass, and Nashua, New Hampshire for auto. So all the keywords and the phone number are all there. Why is that important? Because if someone does a search, they might not even want to visit the website, but they want to make a call. They want to contact that business. If they want more information, great, they'll click the link. So the page description in the organic search engine ranking is very critical. Now, of course, we talk about is your site mobile friendly, right? So it's important to have a mobile strategy. Multiple ways of making a website mobile ready. One is a responsive web design that is recommended, and that's what we offer. One is dynamic serving, meaning that after someone does a search from their mobile device, if a website has a mobile version, it loads up the mobile version of the website, which is actually a totally different website that was built for a mobile device, right? So they've actually got a desktop version and a mobile version. So when the browser on the smartphone pulls up, it says, oh, this is coming from a mobile device. We have to pull up the mobile version of the website, right? Separate URLs, meaning maybe it's a totally different website address on a mobile device than it is on a desktop. Now we're seeing less and less of that, but I'll tell you, the industry gold standard is to have a responsive web design, and that's everything that we do, whether it's Legacy or Oasis. We focus on responsive web design right now. So after you've created a mobile-ready site, you can use Google Mobile Friendly Test. Let's talk about that. You can actually go to search.google.com/test/mobile-friendly. Might want to take a picture of that. We'll also put it out in our recap email. But you can go to this site and just type in a company in their website address, and this is some research that you can do. It'll let you know if they've got a mobile version of the website. Now you can also go on to Google and do a speed test. You can do a website speed test, and it will show you how quickly a website loads. And page load time is now becoming a very, very, very important piece of search engine optimization. So these are the things that you can do when you're researching to have quality appointments add tremendous value and almost guarantee an appointment with a product specialist and a sale for digital marketing. So there is a new game in town, and it is called the Google Core Web Vitals. Recently wrote an article on a blog on blog.mawebcenters.com, and that is a client-facing blog. So you can send that out to your clients and your candidates for them to research and to read it and see the value of what we're doing. We are, ranking very high in the Google Core Web Vitals. In fact, we're number one when it comes to Google's stats and how we perform, and that comes to how we're building the websites right now. Certainly, Legacy is incredible. We're getting high rankings on that as well. But on the Oasis platform, lightning fast, and we're getting some great results. So blog.mawebcenters.com, we have an article about Google Core Web Vitals, and that might be just enough to get an appointment with a business candidate that really wants to improve their search rankings. Ultimately, they don't really want to know all of it, but what we're trying to do is train them and educate them in order for us to do the work for them. At the end of the day, what they want is they want to get more leads, right? So we're going to give them marketing tools to do so. In SEO, we have two different programs. One is local, one is regional, right? So some questions, right? Is their site showing up in search? Are they ranking against their competition? Are there new products and services they want to be found for, right? So in our discussion with the candidate and the client, they're going to discuss the desired goals related to the website, what geography they want to rank for, what's the desired outcome, and then we're going to do all of the tasks related to SEO, like we talked about, keywords, page titles, headings, page descriptions, as well as content recommendations for the website to improve their ranking on a local or regional basis. Now, a Google advertising program, who manages their AdWords? Do they need quick results? Do they have a great site but just need help marketing it? And I'll tell you, in the fourth quarter, it's a great way for them to drive traffic for holiday spending. Google advertising is great for seasonal campaigns, and that's something they should start putting in place now before it gets too late. So our SEO specialists will guide our clients through the AdWords process. We're going to help them set up an AdWords account, take care of the subjects, the account creation, the campaigns, the budgets, all the targeting, and then also offer monthly reporting and tweaking of that campaign month to month. So the minimum campaign is 3 months for these, and they renew in 3-month increments, and that's so we can continue to monitor, measure, adjust, and control to make sure that we're getting the best return on that client's investment. So this is your homework for the week. I want you to take your candidates and your clients and do their search placement research. right? Look at their key categories and their geography. And I am highly encouraging you to print their SERP, right? Search engine results page. When you're doing your research, print off the results. Now you can just print to PDF if you want, so then you can email it if you need to, if you're doing a Zoom. That way you don't have to do it live and be afraid that it may or may not work in your favor. So if you print to PDF, you can say, look, I don't want to take a lot of your time searching and trying to have it buffering and loading and things like that. So here's some searches that I did. And in your search results page, it'll show you the date, right? It'll show you the date that you actually did that search. So you can make sure that you highlight that, or print it out. Print it out, drop it off, bring it on your appointment with you. Those things will increase your likelihood of follow-up appointments. Again, with all that information, it motivates you to contact them for an appointment, because you can see how you can help them, right? Contact them for an appointment to review the search placement, offer some tips, and obviously the biggest thing you can do is introduce them to one of our SEO specialists to help them with their search engine rankings, right? How soon would you like to do that? Great way to book an appointment. Use the digital marketing assessment sheet and schedule the DMP demo for SEO and Google advertising programs. So really, last week we talked about the website. We talked about website design. We talked about content marketing. Now we're going to further that and talking about SEO, driving traffic, and Google advertising. So hope you found all that information useful. I think it's tremendously valuable for your candidates and your clients to have these types of conversations. And what it does is it improves the relationship on your end. They're going to trust you. They're going to see that you are a credible source, and connecting them with the information that's going to help them move their business forward. You're not just calling them from out of state trying to sell them a Google program. You're telling them why after you've discovered from them what their goals and objectives are. So again, search engine optimization and search engine marketing through Google are incredible ways to drive traffic to any client's website, which hopefully will help them increase their revenue, or even just increase their services or branding. And it's important for us to be having those conversations with all of our candidates and clients. Looking forward to next week, where we take this to the next level and talk about some other digital marketing products to help your clients.